with Winston Peters, a fairly relaxed, getting to know you affair, no money discussed in Sydney. After that meeting, someone from New Zealand first contacted Owen Glenn and said, would you like to donate some money? Owen Glenn said, absolutely not, under any circumstances, end of story. I then asked Owen Glenn what happened next.
Then it died a natural death. Nobody raised it until I had the call from Winston to say that there was a specific item regarding legal costs on the Tauranga election results, and would I help him? And I talked about it, and he mentioned that his legal fees were in the 70,000 area, and that may not stop there if he had to pay costs on behalf of the other party. So I said, well, what are you talking about? And I said, would 100,000 cover it? He said yes.
Winston raised this with you. You
Yes.
did not volunteer this money, he solicited the money.
Yes.
You are absolutely sure of that?
Yes, because I wasn't aware he had a court case. Why would I have been? I wasn't following his every move.
When he first raised this with you, when the sum of $100,000 was discussed and you determined that you were going to give him this money, you went and discussed this with the Labour Party President, Mike Williams, right?
Yes, and Howard Morrison is just a friend. I said, you know, how's this going to impact, Howard, in your opinion? And Mike didn't come back for a while, Mike Williams, and he didn't give me an instant response. And I presumed he was going to talk it over with other members of the caucus or whoever.
And when he did give you a response, what did he say?
He said, that's fine. Labour Party doesn't object.
So Mike Williams, from the moment you made this donation, in fact, from the moment you determined to make this donation...
Before I made it.
Before you made the donation, Mike Williams, the President of the Labour Party, knew about it.
Yes.
So when you've heard Labour saying, we didn't know about it, we found out late in the piece, when you've heard Winston Peters saying, I didn't ask for the money, what have you made of all of this?
Well, somebody's not telling the truth. And it ain't me. Because I have emails to prove it.
On the 14th of December, you had a 6-minute phone conversation.
41 seconds.
6 minutes and 41 seconds with Winston Peters. That was about the money, was it?
Yes.
That was when you agreed to give him $100,000.
Correct.
And then 4 minutes after that phone conversation finished, you received an email from Winston Peters' lawyer saying, further to your discussion with my client at 1:30 New Zealand time, here are the bank details.
That is correct. I'm not sure it's 4 minutes, but it was straight after. It's a matter of record, but I can't remember the 4 minutes.
So he was following up on your phone conversation with Winston Peters and saying, put the money in this bank account.
Yes, unless he has some other client that needed the money and didn't talk to me, didn't talk to him either. He's not disclosing who that other party was. But naturally, all the evidence points towards just that.
You're in absolutely no doubt about this, aren't you?
Not at all.
You also managed to provide an affidavit today from the man who was at lunch at Karaka who says, Winston, thank you for the donation in January 2006.
Yes.
So roughly a month after you gave the money, Winston met you at Karaka, you had lunch, he thanked you.
Yeah, I just said, you know, was that helpful to you? The money arrived? He said, yes, thank you very much. It was a great deal of help.
Oh, and I want to come back to this. You've given this coalition government, in a loose sense, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in return for which your involvement with them has been denied. There has been a degree of character assassination about your ability to recollect very simple things like who you spoke to and who you gave money to. What's your response to their response?
Well, disappointment, obviously, but I think it's not having them stand up and support or even encouraging me to seek their help to answer these spurious allegations and leaving it to me to defend myself. These are not the type of people that I particularly want to associate with.
If they asked you for money again, would you be prepared to
They
give them?
did. Mike Williams came over in June. He invited himself, stayed on my yacht, and asked me for further funds.
And what did you say to him?
What time's your flight leaving, Mike?
So Mike Williams, in the midst of all this, asked you for more money.
Yeah, flew all the way. Said he was trying to escape the winter for 2 days.
Flew all the way to where?
France.
Came and saw you there. Stayed on your boat?
Yep.
And asked you for more money.
Correct.
Do you think Helen Clark knew he was there?
In one day, she rang 4 times.
She phoned him on his cell phone 4 times. And he was asking you for money.
Correct.
What do you make of Winston Peters now, Owen Glenn?
I quite like Winston. I like his ideas. It's just that he has a bigger vision of himself.
He hasn't displayed much in the way of gratitude toward you either, has he?
Not at all, because he's always denied I ever did it.
What do you make of that?
Probably needs help.
What about Helen Clark and the Labour Party? What do you think about them now?
Well, I think bearing in mind my motives in getting her party the money and then giving Winston, upon consultation with her president, they could have been a little more supportive, not left me to the lions.
Do you feel they did that?
Oh, yeah. Put it politely, they distanced themselves from me.
And that's putting it polite.
All the way back to the business opening.
When Trevor Mallard
yeah, he was
interference.
the messenger. He's not a bad bloke either. But I wouldn't want any of them in the trenches next to me.
You wouldn't want any of them in the trenches next to you?
Because they'd push you out first.
Owen Glenn, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, John.